We begin with the opening of the college basketball season. We'll start out at Rose Hill here in the BX, where the Fordham Rams look good on both the men's and women's side of things, despite new coaches on both sides of the court. Fordham also has a new TV deal in place, so if you can't get out to the games, you can watch them on SNY. Or, of course, you can listen to them on WFUV 90.7 FM. As for the new TV deal, the Rams have a new partnership with SNY that will result in 21 Fordham basketball games broadcast on the home of New York sports from the historic Rose Hill Gym. The Rams' 21-game package is the largest linear television deal with a regional sports network in program history. Fordham basketball coverage on SNY will start on November 10th as the Fordham women host St. Peter's College, while the first men's game will be on November 15th when the Rams host the University of New Hampshire. Here's men's coach Keith Ergo on his season outlook.
How important is that maturity and leadership that you have on your team this year?
Oh, it's you can't even explain it. I mean, it's just having experience, having guys that are a little bit older, who've been through kind of the day-to-day grind that college sports, but specifically basketball is, right? So, understanding injury prevention, right? So every single day before and after practice, getting into the cold tubs, which is a miserable experience, but just getting into that routine where now it's just kind of second nature, having a routine of greatness that we call, right? You get up the same, you eat the same, you go to class, you do your thing, you know exactly what time you're going to get your extra shots up, you know what time you're going to get with the trainer, you know what time you're going to get with the strength coach, you know what time you're going to get to practice, and then, what you're going to eat after practice and your study hall habits. You have a day-to-day routine. The teams that have really been the most consistent and finished the strongest typically are older teams now, especially with the transfer portal.
Nice job by Ryan Gregware and Danny Scott there with the WFUV interview. We'll stick with outlooks, but shift gears to the National Football League, where the New York Football Giants stood pat at the trade deadline. The G-men have put together a great start to the season. Giants general manager Joe Schoen says he's enjoying this hot start, the team's best since 2012, but he's not unrealistic about the team he has assembled in his first year on the job. This is a clear look into the Giants' mentality at the midway point of the season. Shane and coach Brian Dable compete for today and build for tomorrow. Still, the Giants didn't make any moves at the trade deadline. Their only trade came when they shipped out oft-injured wide receiver Kadarius Toney to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 2023 compensatory third-round pick and a sixth-round draft choice. Here's more with the Giants GM.
Yeah, wide receiver were part of the conversations, but so were, again, we had other, I'm not going to go in every position that we were talking about. Again, we were just trying to add good players, whether it was front line or depth players. So, the problem is there's a lot of teams that are still in it, where we are in the season. So not a lot of teams are sellers. Teams are banged up. So there's not a surplus of players that are available. It's a small pool, and, it takes one team to outbid you or go higher. But, where we are receiver-wise, again, the guys have played, had good games, bad games. Jacksonville, we'd like to have some of those back and, some of those drops. But, Kenny's hopefully coming back soon. Fingers are crossed he'll be back for Houston. So it'd be good to get a look at him again. Again, I'm hopeful for him, against Houston.
We'll see if the Giants can sustain the rest of the way. Meantime, the Broadway Blue Shirts are creeping up in the NHL standings on the ice. Capo Caco scored a pair of goals to lead the New York Rangers to a 4-0 victory over the Philadelphia Flyers, their rival. That win kept them in second place in the Metropolitan Division. We go back inside the locker room for more with the Rangers.
Guys played really well and really hard, and but right up till the end, the game was in. They had a couple of real great chances at the end of the hockey game that would have been tough for us to lose that game. But anyway, that's where it goes. The goaltending played outstanding. Shesky was real good at the end, and it was a battle. It got a little frustrating, of course, when you hit that many posts and you had that many chances, but you just got to stick with it. That's the NHL today. Sometimes you don't play your best game and you win, and sometimes you play your best game and you lose. So stick with it, stay with it, and I thought we did a real good job of that.
Rangers looking awfully good. Sadly, no repeat for New York City Football Club here in the Bronx in Major League Soccer. The Philadelphia Union take on host LAFC in the MLS Cup final after coming from behind to score 3 quick-fire second-half goals and beat the defending champions NYCFC 3-1 in the Eastern Conference Final. After NYC took a 57th-minute lead, Philadelphia responded swiftly in pulsating fashion with 3 goals in 11 minutes to send the Union to the MLS Cup for the first time in club history. That's 13-year history for them. We caught up with Sean Johnson on the club's elimination from the MLS playoffs.
I think it's a season of good moments, bad moments. Really, winning cups and losing out on some championships, but ultimately proud of the guys, proud of the group for how they handled everything. It wasn't easy. Some of the adjustments and changes that we had. So just proud of the guys and how we grinded through the year. Wasn't easy. Played a lot of games and had a lot of successes, but ultimately, disappointing to go out on this note. But again, I'm happy with the guys and how they approached this year. I think it was there's nothing to hang our heads about.
And oh man, it is hard to win 2 in a row. It's time to turn back the clock this morning. We dug into our archives for some college hoops with the season gearing up. Jump in our time machine with us and relive the 2017 Jimmy V Classic. In this goodie, Mikal Bridges had his coming out performance as one of the top players in the nation, scoring a career-high 28 points to lead number 4 Villanova to an 88-72 victory over number 12 Gonzaga in the Jimmy V Classic at Madison Square Garden that year. Syracuse also got past UConn 72-63 in this memorable tournament. Check this out.
Jim Valvano delivered his famous Don't Ever Give Up speech at the 1993 ESPYs. The late, great coach's legacy lives on today through his foundation, the message against cancer, and the Jimmy V Classic, which took center stage at Madison Square Garden Tuesday night. 2 games, 1 great cause. Behind strong performances from Mikal Bridges and Phil Booth, number 4 Villanova rolled through number 12 Gonzaga 88-72 and are setting their sights on another tournament run in March.
We beat a really good team. They shot 40.
That was a goodie. Valvano is remembered for being many things: a player, a coach, a broadcaster, a brother, husband, and father, a friend, and more. But above all, he remains an inspiration to this day, and when diagnosed with cancer at age 46, he never gave up. Always an honor to cover those games at the Garden in his memory. As for the NBA team that calls the world's most famous arena their home address, the New York Knicks haven't started as strong as they would have hoped, following a couple of exciting performances to kick off the season. The Atlanta Hawks overcame a 23-point deficit to beat the Orange and Blue 112-99. Here's Coach Tibbs on the defeat to Atlanta.
It's probably a compilation of things. We missed some shots. We didn't protect the basket as well as we should have. We turned it over. Live ball turnovers, they have a numerical advantage, but you still got to get back. I think we had 17 turnovers. We gave up 26 points. It should never be more than the amount of turnovers you have. So that's something that we, no matter what happens, we're not going to be perfect. We're going to make some mistakes. Just don't quit on a play. You can make a mistake and go hustle and get it back. And that's the mentality we want to have.
Tibbs, in his 3rd season with New York and voted NBA Coach of the Year following the 2020-21 season, is only 1 game over 500 after that loss at the helm. The Knicks were held under the century mark for the first time this season in the loss to the Hawks. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a note on Kyrie Irving. There's no denying that Kyrie Irving can play the game of basketball, but there is some question about his makeup away from the hardwood. And it's time Kyrie and the Brooklyn Nets do some deep soul searching. Irving apologized for posting a documentary with anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and falsehoods on Twitter a few hours after he was suspended 5 games without pay by the Nets. The apology, published on Instagram, came a little more than a week after the Nets star posted the offensive tweet, which has since been deleted. Irving conceded that the video contained some false anti-Semitic statements, narratives, and languages that were untrue and offensive to the Jewish race and religion. He went on to directly apologize to the Jewish community, though he indicated there were some parts of the documentary he still agrees with. Needless to say, we won't be promoting Kyrie in our graphics anymore. Here's to hoping Kyrie and the team can do better moving forward. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C. Stay tuned. More Open back after this.